Hi, it's Jeff. I'm back again. Regarding Germany, just going to talk about apartments. A lot of people here live in apartments. What we would call a high rise apartment building seems to be the norm, anywhere between 3 and 5 stories for the most part. There's a couple that might be taller than that. Parking here in Wiesbaden is absolutely horrible. If you have an apartment and you want to get a parking space, it almost always costs extra. We pay 120 euros a month for our parking space. Fortunately, a lot of things are within walking distance. We're a 10-minute walk from downtown, and there's nowhere to park downtown, so you're really not going to drive anyway. You could take electric scooters, which only cost about 19 cents a minute to rent. You use it through an app on your phone. They have the mass transit system here is outstanding. They even have a translator on the app where you can find out what buses go where. And a single trip bus ticket is 3 euros and 20 cents. An all day ticket is $6.40 for to ride the bus and the trains and the streetcars anywhere in the Wiesbaden and Mainz metropolitan area. They have very good coverage. You can buy tickets through the app, or you can buy them at a little kiosk right at the bus stop. Driving here is excellent on the Autobahn. People really pay attention to what they're doing. I have already driven at triple digit speeds 3 or 4 times now, and it's perfectly legal in an unrestricted section of the Autobahn. About 60% of the Autobahn has no speed limit. But where they do have speed limits, they enforce a lot of it by camera. There's a myth that Germany doesn't have speed limits, and that's totally not true. My wife already got a ticket in the city for going 60 kilometers in a 50-kilometer zone. Most areas in the Autobahn, the recommended speed is 130 kilometers, which is about 81 miles an hour. I went 160 kilometers, which is like 102. I did it just a couple times, and that's as fast as I wanted to go in our 4-cylinder SUV. But I typically drive about 140 kilometers, which is about 86 miles an hour. That's plenty fast for me. And the thing is, lane discipline is really strictly enforced. You can't be in the left lane unless you're overtaking another vehicle, and you don't pass on the right. Germans nailed the highway driving. They really know what they're doing. They pay attention. The only bad thing is some of them go about 100 in the fog, which is kind of crazy. But in town, driving is a little more challenging in town. Sometimes lanes will end and there's no markings for it. And when speed limits change, you have to really be careful because it doesn't say reduce speed ahead. They just post the sign and oops, you've got to know it. So you have to stay alert. And with their traffic lights, when they're red, before they turn green, they turn red and yellow together. So you better be moving when the light turns green. There's no right turn on red here unless there's a sign or a green arrow that tells you you can make a right turn on red. You got to be careful if you're an American over here. Another thing is crosswalks. Pedestrians always have right of way. People will come to a complete stop for pedestrians, unlike the United States where they try to run you over. German drivers have the merging down perfect. Where there's a lane closure, they do the zipper. You take turns, one, 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 and it just, that way it doesn't come to a complete stop. For some reason, Americans will go all the way up to the end and try and force their way in. You really don't do that in Germany. It's frowned upon. But city driving over here can be very challenging. City parking is horrific. But Autobahn driving, I would drive 5 or 6 hours on the Autobahn, and it would be much safer than driving on any interstate in the United States, even though you're traveling faster. All right, I'm going to end this right here and put out another one.